Good morning. It is Monday, April 20th. And yes, we should get the joke out of the way. Yes, it is 420. And yes, this is a Christian network. So if you need, you're obviously a lot better than I am as a Christian if you don't know what that means. And if you don't, have someone explain it to you. I'm not going to, but it is 420. April 20th, and a lot going on this weekend. And I thought of this. There was a golf tournament yesterday. Of course, it's the one after the Masters, and I can't remember the name right now for the life of me. And I thought, wouldn't you hate to be the tournament that's right after the Masters? I mean, come on, it's got to be just tough. Masters last week, of course, amazing. I actually, and I think this is when you start to mature as a guy. Like, you talk about that, and we talked about last week on the show. Like, you realize at a certain point, and I've played golf since I was 5, and you realize at some point that you're never going to be really, really good at golf. Golf is a sport that you're either okay at, or you're not really good at, or there's kind of, you're okay, and I put myself towards the bottom of okay and really mediocre, even after all these years. But you watch golf, and I was watching yesterday again because Kristen was working, so I had some time where I was just goofing off, and the way they can place the ball is incredible. And for those of us that play golf, seriously jealous of how they can do that. And of course, it's a lot of practice, and that is something that for those of us that have to have a job can't do. I wish I would have. I have to tell you, and I was talking, my niece, Sophia, is a fantastic golfer. She's going next year full ride to Taylor University on a golf scholarship. And Taylor, by the way, if you haven't checked out, a really pretty good golf team for the women. And Kristen and I, of course, are excited to be able to go and watch, because Taylor is about an hour and a half away, and so we're super excited about that already. But the thing that, if somebody would have told me, like when I was, I don't know, like a 7th grader, 6th grader, and I used to play golf, and I played but wasn't serious about it. But instead of blowing my knees out in football, I should have played golf, because some cool opportunities, really neat stuff. So if you got kids, do not let them play football. Have them go and play golf. My wife, first, it's a great story, and then I've got some other stuff I want to talk about. First time we went out on a real serious date, it was to this restaurant, and it was really nice restaurant, and it was also up a whole bunch of steps. So here's what happens. And if you're like me and you have knee problems, your knees sound like Frosted Flakes. I mean, Rice Krispies, I'm sorry. When they snap, crackle, and pop. And mine were, and she was like right behind me, kind of like a step behind. And she's like, "What was that?" And I said, "That's my knees." And now she's used to it. Like the other day, we were getting ready it was Saturday. We're getting ready to go somewhere. Like, my knee made it sound like a gunshot going off. And she's like, "Ooh." And I went, "Yeah, that one was bad. I'll even admit." But hey, speaking of one reason why I will not be running in the Boston Marathon today is my knees. 2, only time you're going to see me running if something's chasing me. But it is today, the Boston Marathon. There was a time in my life when I was younger that I thought about it. I used to run, not that length, but I could run 5K easy. And I had the audacity to think that I could do that, like run a marathon. I was going to do a half marathon. So I started training with a friend of mine. This is a few years ago now. I started training, and it did not end well. All of my body did not like the idea of me running on those levels. But Boston Marathon today, Patriots Day, of course, in Massachusetts. That's how you know that today is that day. Also, want to talk about something we haven't talked about yet, and that is great coffee. Today is National Cold Brew Day. I'm not having any cold brew, but I'm having my coffee from the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. 7 Weeks Coffee is doing amazing things. And in May, we're going to have the founder of 7 Weeks Coffee here on the morning break. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming up. But 7 Weeks Coffee, and they send me emails on occasion, and they say, Rob, these are the things you can't talk about on the air, which is terrible for me because I love talking about this stuff. But they've got some great deals if you go to 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you check out. That way they know their money that they're spending is going to the right place. A lot of my friends currently this week in beautiful Gatlinburg, Tennessee. If you've never been to the Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, you need to go. Somebody recently asked me that. I thought it was super funny. They asked me about if I'd ever been. And for a long time, I used to go about 4 times a year. My company used to hold events in Pigeon Forge. And so I would go 4 times a year. Haven't been for a few years, for 3 years now. But it's a gorgeous place. That, of course, is Gatlinburg. You're looking down. And I've not done that. And I got to be honest with you. There's a reason why the wind blows in that valley. And those carts move like the trams move like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. The My Snackies looking cam, Gatlinburg, Tennessee this morning. Beautiful day in the Smokies. Just super cool. And the whole area, by the way, for those of you that don't know, holds a special place for me. First time I met my wife. We weren't dating, but first time I met my wife was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So a lot of good stuff going on. When we come back, you know it's that time. It is time for Mondays with Molly. We'll do that after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, 1 cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Thanks to great folks at 7weekscoffee.com. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. Now, most of the shows you see, I dress up, and that's kind of this kind of theme for today because I saw this study on Friday and I went, ooh, this is kind of interesting. But today, I came to the office a little casual. I've got some work actually I have to do, so it's time tied in really good. But so I'm wearing a little Henley. Got the Henley. My wife bought me this. She likes me in blue. So you see a lot of my clothes are blue because my wife likes me in blue. I also look pretty decent in blue. Blue is my color. If you've ever done that kind of stuff, and I have, so I've studied for television, and blue was one of the colors that looked good on me. I don't look pasty or any of those other things. But I saw this report come out Friday. I was in several places, including Bloomberg's and a couple other places where I sourced this. But we have seen the return of dressing up for the office. And I thought there wasn't anything better to talk to our resident expert about business and things that go on motivationally. It's Mondays with Molly. Good Monday morning to you. And so here's the thing, and I think this is kind of interesting. The study goes on to talk about how everybody kind of threw everything out the window during 2020. It just kind of everybody
kind of, yeah.
It did. It kind of threw everybody off. Now I still dressed, and the reason that got me started on this, I'll have to tell you. So when I go on an airplane, I dress up, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those. I wear a sports coat a lot of times. There are times where I don't. I didn't. This last trip I went to Nashville, I wore a quarter zip and a dress shirt and dress pants, the whole thing. I always find that people treat you nicer when you do that, when you're looking. And so, funny story out of this, and this is so my wife and I are sitting at Costco, and now I'm going to tell on myself. So we're sitting at Costco this past Friday. So Fridays, for those of you that don't know, one reason why we don't do a show is because my wife and I have carved out usually Friday afternoons to be our time. So Friday mornings, I get my work done. So we're sitting, and I was dressed because I had some meetings prior. So I'm dressed up. I got a nice outfit on. I don't even remember. It was a sweater and a shirt and dress pants. Um, oh yeah, I do remember. It was dark blue because my wife bought it. It was a dark blue sweater. So here's the thing: we're there now. Here's where the guilty pleasure comes in. Costco has these amazing chocolate chip cookies that they now sell in the food court. So we get one of those. They're huge. They're like the size of my head.
Of
They're
course
big.
they are.
We
It's
we
Costco.
split, yeah, we split one and we get some ice cream to go with it because it's kind of good. And that's kind of like our we get a Costco twice a month. That's kind of like our treat that when we go there, we get that. The lady at the next table asked my wife, she goes, "Excuse me, is your husband an attorney in Toledo?" And it was because I was dressed up. And it was, she goes, "No, he's not, but I am." And she goes, "Oh, maybe that was it." She said, You looked familiar, but you both look so," because she had come from court. She had actually been mediating a case. And so she was dressed, and I was just dressed what we used to call casual with a sweater and a shirt on. But so here's the study. They're saying that it's out with the casual, kind of like what I'm wearing today, and in with at least semi dress, a dress shirt, dress pants. And the funny thing I saw on this article, and I don't know, I didn't source it, but it was on Bloomberg. It was several other places. I think it was CNN and Fox and several others that had the same story. Is people are going back to wearing dress pants. And this is the one that freaked me out, Molly, because you and I both worked in the TV world where and we'll now let you know there were times when you were in the studio at the anchor desk where you were wearing shorts because it was 150,000 degrees in there, but everything above was dress. But I don't ever remember any time wearing sweatpants, but sweatpants are out supposedly. I do not know what kind of office these people worked at where sweatpants were out.
That is baffling that you could go in person and have sweatpants and have it be a thing. Now, obviously, I mean, there's plenty of times where I'm like dressed up top, sweatpants on bottom, and that's,
yes,
just comfy sitting in the chair. But in person, even when I was in the news, there was no shot of me wearing anything comfortable below. Guys could if they're sitting at the desk. And
right.
at the desk, even no, because like there's always like it never worked out. But there's something to be said when you get dressed up. And I love the phrase. I'm not sure where I heard it or where whatever, but dress how you want to be addressed. So if you're always casual, like airplane, for example, you said you get dressed up. I either wear like a matching sweatsuit or something nice. And because it does matter when you go in the airport, they do treat you different. It drives me insane to see people walk out of their house in pajama pants. And I'm like, those are meant for home behind closed doors. You and your family can see them only. Like, what? So there's just been too much of a relaxed nature that I'm glad it's becoming a thing that's a little bit more enforced because it does totally translate to how you operate in your mind and your productivity.
Oh, I think it's so true. I was reading a book, and my new thing, um, and you can find these online, is I'm looking because motivational speakers now and business speakers now, I swear I think they all have the same script. So you listen to one and they all sound the same.
Pretty much.
So now my new thing is to like go back and find like these motivational guys from like the 50s and the 60s and what they talked about. And there's one guy, and I don't remember his name, but I found his book online, and I'll talk about it in another show so we can get it. But he talked about exactly that, is the presentation of the way you feel translates into the way your performance is. And it's true. And hey, I am fully for. I am looking forward to. My family is going to. We're going to Puerto Rico for family vacation, and I'm going to
Fun.
be there for 8 days. And this gentleman here will be wearing t-shirts and shorts. A because it's going to be 150,000 degrees, and I need to be cool. And two is just because that's that time. It's that setting
Yes.
that I don't have to wear now. In this, I get heat for this, but even on vacation, I'll wear something to the airport and back from the air to the airport and then coming home that looks business-like, because I don't want to look like I just, fell out of bed.
But who knows and who knows who you're going to meet? You're a networker, you meet people all the time, and so am I. So it's like you never know who you're going to meet. And sure, there's going to be moments where, you know what, a hat's on, I'm looking a little scrubby today, like that's fine. But more often than not, I'm always thinking of who will I meet if I'm in a place I'm normally not in. And what is that first impression? Because that matters more than anything. And I've had people over the years give me a lot of it was a kind of like just like these little jabs of why are you always getting ready? Why do you always have your hair? Why do you always have this done? Why? And it was basically out of they weren't getting ready and they were poking fun at me, being like, can you not do that? It makes me feel bad. And I'm like, I'm not going to apologize for getting ready because it's a standard. And I'm glad that workplaces are setting a standard. We should set a standard for ourselves. Because it matters. Otherwise, it just becomes so casual, and that leaks into so many areas. And don't even get me started. I could go on a motivational talk
D-
about that for hours.
Discipline, and it is. And I'll tell you that one of for a very long time, one of our biggest accounts, I was flying from Seattle, from Atlanta, and we had to switch planes, which I hate Chicago, but I had to go through Chicago. So I'm flying from Atlanta to O'Hare and then on to Seattle. So this was a few years ago. And it was Delta, and it wasn't Delta's fault. But they didn't have a flight at the time I needed to leave. It was my fault. I planned a morning meeting I shouldn't have done. So anyway, I'm on that plane and again dressed up, and the guy sitting next to me, we're just, we exchange glances, which there's a whole etiquette about. Normally, I do not over talk on a plane. I'm just not, it's not my thing. I love to talk, but on a plane, usually I'm working. So I sit down. I am that prepared guy. I have my headphones already in my pocket. I have everything ready. I'm gonna zone out for the 2 hour flight from Atlanta to Chicago. And the guy looks at me and he says something. We start talking. He mentioned my shoes. He goes, "I like those shoes." I said, "I got them at Nordstrom's. I'm from Seattle. It's all we shop and get our shoes there." And he goes, "I love those shoes." He goes, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm in the media world. I have office here in Atlanta, so I travel down here and I'm going home." He goes, "What kind of media?" So I started explaining about we work with TV and radio, and by the time we landed, we had exchanged information, and it turned into our second biggest account for about 3 years before the company unfortunately got bought out by someone else, and they went their direction with it. But I will tell you this, and it was funny because every time we'd have a Zoom call or we'd meet in person, because he was going to Chicago, he was going back home, or every time we'd meet in person, he would tell his staff, "I met this guy because he looked like he knew what he was doing." Which right there, he should have known better. But
Oh, come on.
but it is, and I think a lot of people struggle, and I love what you said, is they struggle with if they're relaxed. It's a mindset thing. When you're relaxed like this, you know, you're not looking to do work.
Right. Right, you have to have that, like, you be ready aspect, and I even was as you were talking, even when I go casual somewhere, it's a intentional casual where things are matching, they're classy, they're clean, it has this, like, clean, usually, like, athletic look because when I'm not like this, I'm usually in, like, a hat or some kinda athleisure wear, but very intentional, where it still looks approachable and still looks like, she's being casual, but, like, put together still, so it really does matter because I don't think I've ever rolled out of the house, like, not ready with some kind of something on my whatever, because that is the time that you will be like, "Oh, no, I have to take a quick little call or somebody FaceTimes," or whatever happens. And so or even during the week, if I didn't want to get ready, I don't have a ton of calls on that day. It'd be the day a last minute meeting comes in or something takes place. So I just make sure that I carve out time where Fridays are like a casual Friday, but even then it's like an elevated casual. So
Yep.
you have to ask yourself, like, when I talk to a lot of people when it comes to becoming a better speaker, more powerful communicator, whether that's in person, online through their content, whatever that may be, it's what is that like lipstick or that shirt or the shoes or a brooch or, I mean, necklace, whatever it is. When you wear it, you're like, oh, here we go. It's time. Like
Yep.
there are pieces, items that we have in our closet. When we wear it, we know it's time and we're locked into another level. We just feel good. We took the time, whatever that may be. For me, it's this hair. I love having this kind of fun, big hair. It like totally is my personality and I get to wear it all week. So there's something behind it where it's just a little extra and it's not out of vanity, not out of like being conceited. It's, I know I need this little oomph or I want it because I just want that type of energy and focus going into my meetings, my week, or whatever it may be. So we have to get real with ourselves that that actually does matter. And it's more for you than anyone else. But like the gentleman on the plane, he saw that, he recognized it, and that became a lesson to his staff and his people of this matters because you never know who you're going to meet.
Well, and I think that for and I don't know if it's the case for everybody, but I think a lot of people, when you come prepared, the first thing they see is what you look like.
Mhm.
So I always try to tell my team that if you look prepared, you can sometimes not always have everything together. Oh,
Totally.
and what you said about like meeting people, we live in a suburb. So like going to the grocery store, I always know if I don't shave and shower and I just throw a hoodie and a pair of shorts on, that's the time we're gonna see like 40 people that I know. It's like, in fact, we
Yeah.
joke, we go to
Well,
Meyer. So if you're from the Midwest, you know Meyer. Um, and I joke because I'm walking in, I'm like, how many people are we gonna see? Because I wasn't ready. Because usually it's like a Saturday and you're like doing other stuff. And then in my case, Kristen goes, you want to go with? And I love going, which by the way, going with is a Midwest thing. Nobody else says that. You want to go with? Yeah, I want to go with. And so I do it and then I'm regretting it as I'm walking in because you're gonna see people, you're gonna see people from church and they're gonna look at you because and that happened to me a few months ago. We were there and I looked like death warmed over. I did not look good at all. I looked rugged. I hadn't shaved. I looked deep and like I looked seriously like towards homelessness. I was wearing a hoodie. I was wearing a hoodie that I love, which my wife it's disappeared now and I can't find it. She
must
claims
not be
that
blue.
it huh?
It must not be blue.
It was not.
So
And
she's
that was
like, "Get
it.
it out of here. I only want
It
blue."
was. It was and it disappeared and she claims it's in the laundry room, but it's been there for 6 months and our laundry room is not that big.
Did you look
I believe it
behind?
I believe it may have gone out in the garbage that week because
Mm,
she was but it was so comfortable, and I'd had it a long time. I'd had it like it was like a comforting friend kind of hoodie.
I love those hoodies. I love
Yes, and it may have had a little bit of a hole right here, and it may have had another little hole over here,
so now
like
you
right by
know
the
if it has holes, there's patches for those things. So if you wanna keep
yeah.
it, like, there are ways to keep the thing.
But see, I think that's kind of the cool thing, though. It was kind of that it looked lived in. Well, my wife didn't think it looked all that good, so it probably has disappeared. And
It's
that's
lived
okay.
on in the trash.
She has another, it's super funny. She has another 3/4 zip that I bought. It's one of these athletic ones, and it's a winter one. It's supposedly you can wear it outside. It's not Ohio winter, but supposedly you can wear it outside in the winter alone. It's not. But she goes, "That's the ugliest thing you've ever bought. It looks like a shag rug." And I'm like, "What? I love this."
I love your
And
wife's honesty. It's great. It's
yeah, oh yeah.
phenomenal.
No, trust me, it's unvarnished
It's
every time.
Hey,
What is our
we all have
motivation
clothes
for
like
the
that.
week?
I have
Yeah,
clothes like that too, where it's like there's a couple things, but I do not wear them out of the house ever. And I'm like, I just can see my husband in the corner with the little lighter, like zing, like just it's time to
yes,
go, before he
yes.
left. It
Well,
was like,
no,
we gotta get rid of those.
It's usually what happens out of that is usually, "Hey, listen, we're going to Goodwill with a whole bunch of stuff," and then usually it disappears. That my stuff disappears. I had a really expensive, though it was older, but a very expensive, dress polo shirt that I loved. It's gone, and she goes, "Rob, it was old. It needed to go. It was mine."
She
Oh,
sometimes, like, you gotta release the old so new can come in. Like, wives are great at that, so it's okay.
yes. Yes,
We can go find you
tear the
another.
bandage off. Hey, give us our motivation for the week because we talked about dress all too long and I didn't get us into this. So
He
what
was
is
going down
our
the rabbit hole of, like, here's
we
all the
did.
experiences.
We seriously did. So, but what is our motivation for the week, Molly?
Well, I mean, we'll just keep it on the same theme of this whole thing. I mean, dress how you wanna be addressed. Like, if you change just a little bit each day, each week, it just whatever that is. It's a pair of socks, shoes, whatever. Like, when you walk out the door, you're like, "Oh, I feel good." Even if you're just going to the grocery store. I have a client in my inner circle where, she jumped on a call with me, a private one, and she was like, "I had nothing to do today. Calendar was totally clear, but, like, one of the lessons that you had was dress how you want to be addressed." So she's like, "I'm getting on this call. I don't need to get ready. I know you. I don't have to do that, but I want to because it's a new standard." So you get to set your own standard for yourself and teach people how to treat you. So if you kind of dress like a bum, they're going to be like, "Meh." But if you dress like you're going somewhere and it's something different and you stand out, like that's where God really gets to shine. Like I'm a huge believer in like how we look also attract people the right light. It's not like, yes, they see us, but there's something different in us, which is the Holy Spirit. So there's something a lot different that's in there. So I think that's a perfect motivation for just kind of trailing off this conversation. So it's a good thing,
I
good
love that,
takeaway.
and I love the fact that for us that day on at Costco where they asked if I was an attorney, I got to share about Abundant TV. They were Christians. I
Perfect.
got to share. They downloaded it. I used my dot card, which I'm not sponsored, but I talk about it a lot on here. Used my dot card, and they downloaded the app. Both of them did that day, right there
There you
at the
go.
Costco. So yeah, it does. I think you nailed it. I think that was a really cool topic, and we didn't even plan it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how great things happen. That's when you have the great Molly Gomez with you. It's Mondays with Molly. Thank you so much. What are you working on this week? What's your big project this week?
Actually, I would say I got quite a few projects, but in a couple hours, I will actually be featured on the Christian TV network here, the Vegas chapter. So they
Very
invited me
cool.
to come on and be a guest on their show out here. So getting ready for two things: Abundant TV, the Christian TV network. I think it's also called Access. Anyways, it was like an invitation on Friday afternoon. I said yes, sold. Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, I will be there. So that will be exciting.
That's
And then I'll,
awesome. Take
yeah.
some pictures for all of us. Also, hey, Molly, you want to tell people you've got your show on every day, and then also Salted.
Salted. Yes, we are going to be coming out with a new episode here in a couple weeks. We are very excited. It's always fun the chatter on the background of just seeing like what is bubbling in the air as far as just the hot topics. And so I just love being able to be in the mix with these ladies of just seeing, what can we bounce back and forth with to actually talk about real issues. But if you're not following us, follow us all social media platforms. We are out there. You can always go on Abundant TV, the live app, so you can be able to watch the show there. But we want to hear from you as well. So on Facebook or what have you, that's where we're primarily at, I would say. Like chime in. If there's something you want to talk about you that's like on your mind and what you want us to discuss, we would love to be able to hear from you. So it's a collective thing, which I love.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, you're also keynote speaking coming up in September. Tell everybody where they can go for that.
Yeah, so I just got invited to be a keynote speaker at Women of Impact. It's an event out in Franklin, Tennessee. And so it's for women that are wanting to really step into deeper impact in their calling. And so the right women I know will be in that room. I'm honored to come alongside these women that want to just go deeper. So I know if you come into the room, you're going to be transformed. Why do I know that? Because that's what the Lord's telling me. So we're
That's
excited for
awesome.
that. September 18th, you can look at wearewomenofimpact.com and you'll find all the info there.
Awesome. Thanks, Molly. Hey, it's Mondays with Molly here on another morning break. Crazy day. It has gone by way too fast. Hey, listen, I appreciate each and every one of you. Go out and this is the morning break.